Yes.
It's a question dealing with separation of church and state.
Mm-hmm.
What has been the historic Baptist view on the government enforcing the law of God? Like the second table of the law of God? You quoted somebody saying that we should be able to follow our conscience as long as you do not bring harm on the goods and bodies of people. So I didn't know if there was a clear view on that.
Well, clearly governments have taken positions that are alien to Christianity. Christians should always be willing to suffer. We should be willing to die. The government makes laws against the preaching of the gospel. We still should find ways to preach the gospel. The basic understanding of the second table, Roger Williams talks about this a lot in The Bloody Tenet of Persecution. He talks about the two tables of the law. And that the government is responsible only for the second table, because he thinks that is the thing that is clearest in general revelation, that you cannot have any kind of society that has the probability of human prospering that allows lying, that allows killing, that allows adultery, and so we even have degrees of this. We get into it like, is it a hate crime? If you commit a crime, that's bad, but is it a hate crime? It makes it worse, as if we could discern that. But I think the principle is right. If a crime is done with a special malice and hatred, if you kill someone because you plan to kill them and you hate them, that's worse than killing them because you're robbing a store and they get in your way and you just happen to kill them. You don't hate them, you just kill them because you don't want to get caught stealing. Now, I know that may sound strange, but I do think there's a difference, and that has to do with the law of coveting. Coveting is the foundation of all sins. So that has to do with the internal principle. There was a proverb that talks about you'll have pity on a man who's stealing bread for his family because they're hungry, though he still will suffer. He still will suffer the law, but nevertheless you have pity on him. But there's some who steal bread just because they're corrupt. Well, they're worse. And so the government has a responsibility to keep order in society, to protect the goods and bodies of the people. If that's not what government is, then it shouldn't exist. And Christian Baptists assume that second table was so deeply embedded in social consciousness that is the place that government should function. But to enforce people to love God with all their heart, mind, soul, and strength, that the government can't do that and has no business trying to do that. To define who God is and to worship the one true God and have no other gods before him, the government can't do that. That is peculiarly within the province of preaching and demonstrating who God is and how he has acted and how he brings people to himself. And so the first table, the government has nothing to do with. But the second table creates the freedom in society so that there can be the free interchange of ideas without the fear of being killed if you maintain one idea as opposed to another. John Clark approaches it that way. Roger Williams approaches it that way. John Leland approaches it that way. Christopher Blackwood. Christopher Blackwood he was in England. He has a little bit more room for government intervention in things like obvious idolatry, cursing and swearing. He thinks that government can intervene in things like that because, well, he has reasons. And a lot of Baptists don't disagree with him. But Christopher Blackwood did have a little bit more place for some elements of the first table being government responsibility.